Well, good morning. It's Andy here, and I've got another installment of the Pitching Coach Playbook podcast, and this one is going to be a good one. This is something that I was doing the other night over at TPI, and to prove a point to some kids, but I bet you it's something that you deal with a lot as well. I think that it's probably almost inherent nature that when a pitcher is struggling on the mound, just mainly maybe to throw strikes or whatever, that there's almost an initial almost gut reaction tendency to try to back off and to try to maybe even to start to aim the ball. And this is probably something I'm sure that we've all dealt with from time to time is pitchers that are trying to be too perfect. They're trying to aim the ball because they're struggling. And then what ends up happening inevitably is either one, they are able to start getting it over the plate, but it's less competitive and they're starting to get killed, or it gets even worse, and it gets worse in a hurry. And so I had some guys. These were youth kids. These were young kids that came over the other night. But I think that what we did, what I put them through, would hold true no matter what age group that you're working with. And so I'm going to share those results with you in a little bit too. But anyways, so they came in, and their grandfather, who dropped him off, he was telling me that in the most recent game, the younger of the two, which is about 9 years old, that in the most recent game he pitched, that he started out the game, just really, really good. He's throwing hard, throwing strikes. Guys were, he was having a lot of success. And then a guy got a little cheap hit off him or something, or not even a cheap hit, I think is what he said, is that, kid hit it, and then the defense inevitably at the 9-year-old level is not the best. And so a few errors started to incur behind him. And then what he started to see is his grandson, 9-year-old on the mound, all of a sudden just start to pull it back. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. And he was struggling to throw strikes all of a sudden. And when he did throw strikes, he was getting hammered. And so it went from a really good start to, the end result was not so positive. And so it gave me the idea of what we were going to do. And he had his older brother with him too. And his older brother is 12 years old. And very good arm, by the way, a very, very good arm, 12-year-old. And so what we did is, after they got loose and they were ready to get on the mound, we got to that point, and this is the experiment that I would encourage you to possibly try, or at least think about, have in your back pocket if you want. And so what I did is, once they were ready to get on the mound, we happen to have a dry erase board right next to our mound. And so I didn't go full distance, by the way. I went probably about 80% distance of what they would normally throw. And so I just told them, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 10 throws, all fastballs, by the way. We're going to do 10 fastballs as slow as you could, within reason, and then 10 fastballs giving it your max effort. And so we tallied them. And if you hit the strike zone, then we counted it. And if you didn't hit the strike zone, then we didn't count it. So the older kid, who's got, like I said, a really good arm, good stuff, when he was slow, he hit the target 20% of the time, 2 out of 10. And when he went full speed and got after it, he hit the target 60% of the time. Okay. The younger kid, who was the one initially who had the struggles in the game, when he was slow, he hit the target 3 out of 10 times, 30%. And when he went fast, he hit the target 3 out of 10 times, 30%. I said, okay. And then it was at that point that I explained to him why we were even doing what we were doing. Okay. So the older kid saw immediately that going slower and trying to aim the ball was actually a worse situation and decision for him to make. The younger kid understood the point, but he hadn't experienced that same situation because he hit 30% both times. So we redid it with him, but this time we only did it in 5 pitches. So 5 slow and then 5 fast. When he went slow, he hit 0 out of 5, and when he went fast, he hit 3 out of 5, or 60%. So it was a very quick little test, an experiment for those guys to understand. But it's something that I would encourage you guys to have in your back pocket too when you see your guys backing off. It's going to be, they're going to have more success when they don't try to slow down. Now, you don't want them to go so fast they're out of control and reckless. That's the opposite end of an extreme. But that they need to stay competitive. That's going to be their best shot. And if they have it that day, they have it. And if they don't have it, then they don't have it. And that's just the way it is. And you make the decision and you take them out of the game. But anyways, I would encourage you, even in fact, if you've got guys that do that little experiment with them. I bet you that you're going to find that they're going to get the results that you're intending for them to get, to prove your point that backing off and slowing down and trying to aim the ball is not productive, even though I think it's almost inherent human nature for us to believe that it will help us to be, to throw strikes and be more successful. It actually hurts us a lot more than it helps us, okay? So anyways, just one little tip for you there that day. I hope everything's going good for you. I hope you guys are way deep into your seasons and having a lot of success and like where you guys are going, as always. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me at info@texaspitchinginstitute.com. Stay tuned for additional podcasts. Check out what we got going on the website, and share this with anybody that you think might get something out of it as well. And I appreciate you listening. And until then, I'll talk to you later. See ya.